Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the R Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. So I am back with 5 prophetic messages, y'all, and these are so very important messages, okay, for these times. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to draw some cards that I was being divinely guided to use in the process, and I actually have these new cards that I told you guys have kind of bought for myself, these Lemuria cards, because I say all that to say. I say all that to say that a lot of these energies that we're trying to clear up and clear out of us in regards to these prophetic messages goes way back to the time of Lemuria and the time of Atlantis. I know some of y'all was like, what? Yes, but I say all that to say we're clearing out a lot of karma from way back during those times, should I say. And this message is very important. So please don't rush the process, because I'm trying to give it to you. Thank you, Spirit. I'm trying to give it to you exactly how it was being given to me, so that way you understand it. But this is a very important message. All these messages are important, to be honest with you. So anyway, but let's get in. So anyway, if the message is not resonating with you at this exact moment, does not necessarily mean that it would not resonate with you within a couple of weeks or a month or two from now. So keep that in mind as well too. And even if it's not resonating with you around about a month or two from now, it could be that maybe you already experienced some of this and went through some of this already. And it could be a situation that you're being divinely guided to watch my channel because you're helping to assist or helping you to understand what could be possibly going on with somebody else that may be around you, meaning like, you know, family members, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your neighbor, a co-worker, your boss. Take it how it resonates, just people in general, because I really feel like things that are being I'm hearing activated. Am I saying that right? Things that are being brought to the surface are going to be from the White House down to possibly your house. So I just want to make that very clear. You know, when I say your house, it could just mean necessarily just you in general, meaning like your soul, your vessel, your body, you, and things that you go through and things that you experience. But it could also possibly affect, you know, the little ones. And my little heart goes out to them. And I say that to say that just try to stay grounded as much as you can. Try to work out, try to exercise. If you're a male or a female, just try to do more dancing, should I say. And I say that to say because we are trying to merge our feminine energy, more of our feminine energy, and get more out of this masculine energy that a lot of us has been in, should I say. And I'll be the first to say that because I'm an air sign, and Aquarius represents, I told you guys before, Aquarius represents masculine energy. So I can definitely tell you that I had been operating out of my masculine energy, you know, not realizing, you know, why, but now it's a matter of us balancing out that feminine energy, should I say. And a lot of these planetary shifts are going to help us to do that, because it's going to help us to bring up feelings and emotions and things that we didn't even know that was there. They're going to start coming to the surface. So I say all that to say, please be gentle with yourself. Please be understanding of other people that are around you, because you never know what they may be experiencing. Some of us are in the present moment. Some other people are possibly on different timelines that they're trying to clear up karma from. And I say that to say, just imagine being on an escalator. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit is giving to me like an escalator. Imagine being on an escalator, and each person is standing on an escalator going up. So each level represents, not that somebody is better than anybody else, but people who are more up at the top of the escalators, they have already experienced these things, whereas people more so at the bottom as well as to the middle are in the process of going through each level and learning the lessons so that they can become be more current in the, not saying that they're not current because their body is current, but their mindset and things that they're going through are actually on different timelines. So yeah, on different timelines. So let me say this. I know this may sound a little crazy, but before I get into the message, watch this movie called oh shoot, what is it called? Well, first of all, watch this movie called oh God, what was the name? I'm sorry, what was that movie? Doctor what? Thank you. That movie called Doctor Strange. It's a Marvel movie, but watch it. I'm so trying to tell you, and I just saw 444 when I said that. Watch Doctor Strange. Very important because it's kind of almost, if you watch that movie, it'll kind of give you more of a perspective of the things that I'm talking about for those of you who do not understand what it is that I'm saying right now. Meaning like we could be existing right now on this planet right now, like me right now, and I could be in a totally different timeline or dimension because there's several different dimensions that we or myself is functioning in, and it just depends on which one I'm tapping into at that time. You know, I could be tapping into one that's in low vibrational energy. I could be tapping into one that's wealthy and, you know, prosperous and so on and so on. So it just depends, and it just depends on where you're at in the process. But anyway, watch Doctor Strange. But if you also watch hold on, y'all, because I'm trying to remember. If you also watch, okay, I'm gonna just say Doctor Strange for now because I cannot figure out that other movie. But anyway, if I remember next time I record a message, I'll tell you then. But please watch that Marvel movie, Doctor Strange, and all the things that he's doing in there, the metaphysical things that, you know, you hear me talking about, which is the Reiki and, you know, so on and so on. He was doing it in that movie, but not, it's beyond that. But it's just showing you just how we could be present in the moment, but at the same time, we are still functioning on different timelines. But anyway, that's what this message is about today. So anyway, and for those of you who do not know, I'm an intuitive clairvoyant Hayoka empath who receives divine prophetic dream messages. I also receive intuitive messages through music, as well as just intuitive messages in general. I am here to help assist souls on their spiritual journey. In other words, I'm here to help translate the messages from the spiritual world over into this physical world as we are moving and navigating through these energies. So that way it'll help you to understand what is taking place at this time, or what are the energies to come. So that way when you're presented with it, you can be like, oh, okay, so I heard the message of, you know, do this, well, not necessarily do this to do that, but the energies that are to come, because it's up to you to make those choices of what you choose to do with that energy. I'm just here just to give you the message of what's to come. And it's up to you how you navigate it, because we all got free will, and you do usually what's based off, what's beneficial to you. Anyway, so with all that being said, let's get right into the message. Oh my God. So I had to wake up and thanking God today, like how he presented this message to me, because I was like, oh, wow. I was like, that was really amazing, because like I went to bed last night and I said, Lord, please help me to understand what it is a family member is kind of going through. But it's just not just this particular family member that's going through this. Other people are going through this and experience it as well. I'm just trying to put it in perspective so that way you may understand it as well, too. So anyway, I say all that to say, okay, in this dream, right? And please bear with me, because the way he presented it all to me, I was just like, wow, wow, wow. Anyway, just bear with me. So in this dream, it was as if I was with, I felt like it was two other people, right? I felt like I was with two other people, and I felt like we was just driving somewhere, and it just so happened, I said, oh, well, let me stop past this. Like we was passing I got the feeling like it was a jail in a sense, like someone of like, let's just say like in a dream, it was somebody that I knew years ago, like when I was probably 13 or 13, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. Years ago, like in the late 80s, I had knew someone who had actually got incarcerated, right? So I say all that to say that it showed up as if I was going to visit this person, right? And this person, and need I remind you, this person is not incarcerated, has not been incarcerated, but it was just showing me that, so that way I'll know it was somebody who was like, I guess, once incarcerated. But anyway, so I say all that to say that there was, so we was driving, and then we was passing this facility, and I said, oh, well, let me stop here and just see if I can visit my friend who was, you know, in jail or whatever the case may be. And I say all that to say that I went in there thinking to myself, oh, well, they may not let me in because I may not even be on his visitor list, and so on and so on, because I'm just showing up randomly and popping up, should I say. So I say all that to say that once I got inside, the lady was just like, she said, yeah. She said, well, this person can have a visit, but they can't have, like, she was specifying some other type of visit. But the way I was getting was like as if it was like, you know, a conjugal type visit, if I'm saying that right. when people have that, but she didn't necessarily say that, but I kind of got the feeling like as long as there were like no romantic feelings involved, I could see this person in a sense, is kind of what she was saying, the way she worded it to me. I said, oh, no, we're just friends, or whatever the case may be. And then she said, oh, okay, well, then you can see them or whatever. So anyway, so as I kind of wrote my name down, I guess, on the list or whatever to see the individual, let me just say this. Going through the door, it was like I remembered everything that was happening, but I'm just telling you just how quick it switched. Like when I went in, I signed, talked to her, and then all of a sudden it was like nothing was there. Everything went blank. Like I didn't remember anything from that point on, me signing a book. All I remember was me coming out the doors of like the jail, but then I was like confused about like, because I remember going inside, I told the people who I was with, the two other people who were waiting on me, I said, yeah, well, I'll let you know how it goes when I come back out or whatever. So when I came back out, I don't remember anything after signing the book. And I remember sitting there like this, like trying to remember what had just happened, because it was almost like going into the jail was almost like going into a different timeline, a portal, into a different dimension, however you want to refer to it as. But when I came out, I didn't remember anything that had happened after me signing into the book and signing in. So I remember like sitting there like this, and I remember like trying to remember everything, and then it's like my friend was kind of looking at me like, yeah, so how did the visit go? And I was sitting there looking like, I don't understand. I know I went in there, but I don't remember anything that happened after, going inside other than signing my name and coming back out. So I say all that to say that either you may be knowing somebody who may be experiencing like it may seem as if something's going on with them, right? But I say all that to say, this is why God was just telling us some time ago to basically forgive those who have done us wrong in whatever shape or form, of how they may have done it. Forgiveness is for yourself, because the truth of the matter is, if you knew what a person was really going through, your heart would probably be like, for those people whose hearts are really open, should I say, your heart would kind of almost break in a sense, be like, oh, you poor soul, you know what I mean? And as I told you guys before, the reason why I sit here and I say beautiful souls, because, even though sometimes on the outside, including myself, I'm sure you guys probably remember the situation in 2021 in regards to me, venting about things that was just happening in the neighborhood. I'm gonna just say it like that. But I say all that to say that, we don't know what people are experiencing. We don't know what they're going through, including myself and all. And I say all that to say, so when people are infringing on your free will, in other words, like you're doing stuff against your will, and sometimes people don't even realize that people are doing stuff against them, and unless God reveals it. But then even when God reveals things to you, it's like, oh my God, like it could be enough that could really just play with your head, should I say. And I say all that to say, like, an example, when coming out of that jail and not remember nothing that had taken place. So imagine in this lifetime, like, you have been walking on this earth and you don't even remember some of the things that you have been doing, but those things are about to be revealed to you in a sense. So I say all that to say, I'm just telling you as a way of saying that you guys are going to be woken up to the truth. And I just want you to know that being woken up to the truth, sometimes that can hurt, because we realize, one, either how we have done people. Two, we realize that God has shown us things either about ourselves or either shown us things about other people that we don't necessarily like. That one, these are people are close to us. And two, this is people that, in some way, shape or form have tried to hurt, harm, or injure us, whether it be in a past lifetime. So when you see stuff like that in this lifetime, it's almost like it's enough to kind of, I'm keep hearing spirit say, fuck your head up. But I don't want you to look at it from that perspective, because it's a matter of you just trying to understand that it's coming to the surface because God wants you to process what is taking place. He doesn't want you to ignore it because he wants you to understand. It's almost like acknowledge it, what's coming up. Okay, so when you acknowledge it, you sit in it for a moment and you really think about, wow, I didn't even see that coming. Or wow, really? I've been doing this and doing that for that person, and this how they did me in another life. But just be mindful, because I don't want you to think that sometimes the information that's coming up, it could be pertaining to a past life situation that you have had with this person. It doesn't necessarily mean that in this lifetime that they were probably doing it, but it could be different for everybody else, because in some cases, people, you could see things, because I know I've seen current and past of things that people were doing too. But I say all that to say, just try to process again what is coming up and try to just acknowledge what's coming up. Because if you try to sweep it underneath the rug, you're just going to make the situation worse. And then as you sweeping it underneath the rug, it's just going to prolong your healing process, because God is bringing it up for us to process it, acknowledge it, feel it. He wants us to feel it. He wants us to know that it hurts. Yes, it hurts, because we thought certain people were for us. It hurts. Just like you saw me crying the other day, those were no crocodile's tears. I mean, those were tears. I do cry a lot. I cry because for me, I know that that's a way to release, in a sense, and I realize for me, that's good. I can't speak for everybody else, but I say all that to say that he wants us to share that energy, because when we release, it's like releasing that stuff from out of our system. We're releasing it from our muscles, our tissue, and our organs, because when we have that stuff just sitting there and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and the more we come rigid and tight and hold on to it or whatever, let me just say, it causes dis-ease in your body. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So I say all that to say, oh, are you kidding me? So I say all that to say, really? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So I say all that to say that, again, and if it gets to the point that, you start feeling your health being affected, it's because you're holding on to it and God's just trying to get you to release it. So if you think that, you're not supposed to cry, if you think that you're supposed to be tough, or, men don't cry or women don't cry, for those who are in their, more in their masculine energy or whatever the case may be. No, the opportunity, God is giving you an opportunity to shed all that, to release it. And then not only that, but these planetary shifts are here to help us to release that stuff, meaning it's going to cause us to be emotional. But anyway, we're not done yet. So, hold on, y'all. Okay, so and then this next dream, this one came through, and this is similar to the, excuse me, this one is similar to the first one. So I say all that to say, remember I said I was like a little disoriented because I didn't know what was going on after, going in as well as coming out. Going in is almost like, actually, as a matter of fact, I did a prophetic message on when I said it was like going through this tunnel of darkness and then coming out the other end. It's kind of almost like that. So going into the jail was like I was aware up until after signing the papers, and then coming out, I don't remember anything of that other than just coming out of what was taking place. But anyway, so this next message it came through as if it was, again, 3 people, okay? 3 people yet again. So it's coming in, I feel like I think the 3 people is a representation of it coming in 3 waves. Because the first dream was about 3 people, including myself, that made it 3. It made it seem like it was 3. And then it was a situation of, I believe, 3 other people in a sense. But anyway, so the second dream was, okay, the setting was as if we was going into a restaurant, right? Like we was going into a restaurant to eat. And this restaurant had like these really big wide type windows, like really almost close to the floor that you can see. So we was going in there to eat, right? And then all of a sudden, one of the people that I was with, they had saw somebody who they were I don't know if I want to say frenemies or their arrival or someone that they had beef with. This wasn't like a gang situation. Nobody had on colors or anything, but somebody they obviously had an issue with. And it was to the point that they saw them coming. So just as we had came into the restaurant and we was going to this one particular area that was like a little kind of closed off, meaning like it was stationed like this with a table right here in a sense. And then and there was nowhere else to go. So the guy was on this side of the table. So in other words, if somebody came into the restaurant, his back would be against like the window. In other words, kind of like, just imagine the shelf back here being a window. So he was standing in this position with the table in front of him. Then all of a sudden he looked out the window and he saw like one of his, he saw like one of the guys, I guess, like he said, he had beef with or whatever. So he was coming, and dude kind of positioned himself in front of the table, you know, like right here, and he saw him coming. So it was almost like he pulled up his sleeves and he was getting himself ready in a sense, because I guess he didn't want to get caught off guard because he saw him coming and he knew that they had already had some prior beef or whatever. So he was preparing himself for the battle, in other words. So what had happened was, after seeing him outside coming, dude pulled up his sleeves, got ready. So after that, I didn't see anything other than the fact of, I didn't see dude walking all the way in. All I saw was dude kind of coming on the other side of the table. And the next thing you know, it was like as if I was on this side of the table near him as I watched him pull up his sleeves. And to be honest with you, y'all, I may not have even been there, period. I just might have just been there in spirit and just observing what was going on. But anyway, so I moved from around the other side of the table because I knew to myself that I would be blocked in this corner if I stayed there. So I moved around the other side of the table where the dude stayed right there on that same side of the table. And then lo and behold, I moved, and then next thing you know, oh my God. So all I heard was dishes flying. All I heard was, oh, you know, and people running and scattering, and they was just going for it. So some things I could see, and then some things I couldn't see. I was just hearing, you know, and then it just so happened that everybody kind of started running as those two were fighting. And then just outside the door somewhere, apparently there was like a pool that was nearby, but I went outside to near like the door that leads like to the pool area. I didn't go to the pool, but there was like this little caddy corner over in a corner, kind of like this corner right here where that lamp is, and I just kind of stood in a corner just to kind of protect myself. And I was just like this, in other words, just trying to protect myself and just stand there while I watched people run past. You know, I saw water on the floor outside, just leading to the patio to where the pool was. And I want to say I even saw like a little bit of blood kind of mixed in with the water, should I say. But I say all that to say, I saw people kind of like, I believe, slipping and sliding and getting up and running. And I saw like a little poor dog. I don't even know where the dog came from, but the little dog was there, and he was just, you know, just trying to figure out what was going on. He kind of looked at me, and then I don't know, for some particular reason, he disappeared. But then even after that, I remember I didn't see anything else outside of that. But what happened was, right? Listen to this. This is a kicker. It's almost similar to the first message. Next thing you know, I don't remember anything else after seeing the dog or whatever and seeing how he was looking. And dog is a representation of man's best friend. So I say all that to say the dog made eye contact with me, and I just looked at him, and then I was just like, just standing over in the corner, you know, just like, what is going on? What is going on? But the next thing you know, everything went kind of blank. And then here's the kicker. So I told you it was a pool just outside, because all I had to do was just walk around the corner and the pool was right there, right? It said I stood in that corner. And then next thing you know, I felt like I woke up in the pool with my head just on the edge of the pool. You know how you sit on the edge of the pool, that part of the pool I woke up with my head in the caddy corner just like this, and I was leaning back with my head on the edge of the pool. And I remember one of the girls who was in the pool, and she was like, oh, you finally came too, huh? So I say all that to say that was pretty much the end of the dream, but she was just saying you finally came through. She said something about you finally came through. Hold on, y'all. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So I was just trying to see if I should share this. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Okay, so the lady who was sitting there near the edge of the, well, inside the pool with me, she leaned over and she was like, "Oh, you finally came too." What she said was, she said something similar to about a tampon, right? A tampon being something about being put in. And don't think as if it's, you know, something sexual related, because it's not. But the tampon is something usually that a woman inserts inside of her to keep the blood from flowing out. If we could just be adults here for a minute, you know, keep something from flowing out. But because she said something about pudding can be like kind of thick. She said something about putting in the tampon. But anyway, so with that being said, what I'm hearing Spirit say is like, imagine a tampon being stuck in a woman's vaginal area, and then it coming out, and then if I know it may sound gross, but just bear with me and just try not to think about the gruesome part of, because that's the message of the story. You know, the tampon coming out, and not only is it saturated with the woman's monthly fluid or whatever the case may be, but anything else that's in there that needed to come out and shed its way out as well too. So I say all that to say that the fighting and all that other stuff, you know, the rivalry and all of the bickering and going back and forth and having an issue with this person and having an issue with that person, and, you know, just stuff that had just been boiling deep down inside, you know, within your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, just things that has just been building up deep down inside. It's almost like that tampon was being pulled out so that it can help you to release, like I said first in the first message, to release that stuff that no longer serves you. Because, thank you, Spirit, because I'm hearing Spirit say that, you know, if we having beef with somebody in this lifetime, it's because we've had beef with them in another lifetime, you know, whether it be another dimension or whether it be a past life, you know. So I say all that to say that sometimes we have issues with a person and we don't know why we have issues with a person, because it's deeper than that. It goes to a soul level. You know, you could be having issues with somebody that is close to you and you're like, well, why do I have issues with this person? But I still love him. But why do I have issues with this person? You know, these are things that are going back to, again, past lifetimes. You know, I know sometimes, you know, I can't instill that enough. And I'm only saying it to say, and I know some of you guys are probably like, well, what is she talking about, this past life stuff? You know, and I say that to say, I can only speak on what I have been through, and I'm just sharing what I have been through. And I know it may be hard for some of you to process, because maybe you haven't seen some information yet, or maybe some of you have seen some information yet, but you don't know how to process it. So I say all that to say that, you know, again, and oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Thank you, Spirit. I'm so glad I wrote that note down. So being in that swimming pool was a representation of, some of you guys are going to find yourself sitting in your feelings and your emotions. Water usually represents feelings and emotions. So because I was just sitting in a pool and just leaning back as I was coming to, that lets me know that some of you guys are going to find yourself sitting in your feelings and your emotions. So please acknowledge what comes up. Process it, as I said before. Don't try to push it underneath the rug, because if you try to do that, I mean, you can do what you want to do, but if you try to do that, you're just going to make it hard for yourself. And then when you're making it hard for yourself, as I said before, you become too rigid and you become too stern and you become too controlling and thinking too, you know, analytical and overthinking things. You know, you can make it hard on yourself, because as I said before, you know, things can build up in your body. You know, our bodies weren't really designed to take on all the stress and, you know, the turmoil and stuff that we have been through. But a lot of these things are coming up, and that's why God said go with the flow. And if you go with the flow of things, that means you feel what's coming up. You allow it to process, because if you don't, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this right now. You know, and that's part of the reason, thank you, Spirit. That's part of the reason why God is trying to get you guys by yourself, in a sense, so that way you can process it, so you don't have these distractions around you, so that way you don't have people interfering with your healing process, so that way people aren't judging you in the process, so that way that you can heal on your own, so that way you can heal in private. You know, granted, you got to go to the store, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it's okay, you know, because everybody's going through. And if somebody's trying to put on a mask and make it seem like they're not going through, they're lying. Let me just tell you that. That's that false mask that I was telling you about the other day. But I say all that to say that, and for those people who are continuing on like nothing is happening, they're going to find themselves in for a rude awakening, should I say, because they're still trying to navigate through these old energies the same way, and we cannot take that going forward. So anyway, if you find yourself again soaking in your feelings and your emotions, just allow it to process. Feel whatever's coming up. Allow yourself, and I'm hearing spirit say, write it down. Write it down. Writing it down will also help you to release. You know, as I told you guys before, I have a dream journal, and I also have a regular journal. Then I also have an intuitive journal with information that just comes up. So I have so many different dream journals that I've had since 2018, and I've had dreams prior to that, but God just started telling me to write stuff down in 2018 or whatever the case may be. And you know, and because he was showing me things about, again, my past life in the process. But I say all that to say that write it down, because you writing it down is helping you to really be able to see what is taking place, and you processing that. You can look back on it, you can read it, you can process it, you can feel it. You may sit there, and after writing it down, you may sit there and go back over and read it, and you may start crying, and that's fine too, because that crying is going to help you. You know, I'm telling you, if I could tell you the numerous amount of times that I have cried in 2018. When I tell you I cried like a baby. I cried like a baby who had colic, should I say, because my kids was like, well, what's wrong with you, Mom? Are you okay? And I was just like, you know, I was just like, I'm okay. Just let me cry. Let me cry. You know, so it was almost like that a day did not go past that I did not cry. I was crying on a daily basis, even to the point of, should I say, if you guys feel like you don't want to eat, because that may be a part of the process as well too, you have to at least give your body something, okay? Even if it's you drinking a smoothie, because I know for myself, I did not want to eat. It wasn't the fact that I didn't want to eat. Nothing tastes right to me. You know, I had to fix food, even in the process of me crying, because I still had kids to feed or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, it's like, you know, the kids were like, Mom, you going to eat? And I was like, I don't feel like eating. Like, I didn't have a taste for eating, but I knew I had to eat because I knew that I had to live, okay? So I say all that to say I had to kind of force myself to eat in a sense. But other than that, I was like a rag doll. I really just had to go with the flow or whatever the case may be. But I will tell you guys this. I am thinking about I'm not going to say it just yet because my birthday's coming up soon, right? But I told you I don't want to talk about what I am going to do. I just want to do it. So if I do decide to go ahead and do it, I'll let you know a couple of days ahead of time. But anyway, so let me finish. But again, you're going to find yourself wallowing in your feelings and your emotions that comes up. So again, please be gentle with yourself. Do not judge yourself. Try not to judge others, because again, in one lifetime, let's just say, even if, excuse me, whatever may be coming up for you, if you see somebody acting or behaving or has done something to you in a prior lifetime that's being shown to you, or even currently now, just know it in some way, shape, or form that you yourself had to learn probably the same lesson that they're learning in this lifetime, but probably just with somebody else in a sense. So keep that in mind too. That's the reason why God said, make it a point to not judge others or whatever, because we are all learning soul lessons. We're all learning soul lessons, you know? Yeah. So anyway, but I'm hearing spirit say, because yesterday I went to put some gas in my car, right? And I also went to put some gas in my daughter's car. But for some particular reason, when I went to the gas station, right, this man comes up on the other side of the pump, right? And I was just minding my business, but I just always have this habit of people just staring, you know? And I'm just like, you know, if you're going to stare, just at least be a little incognito with it or whatever the case may be. So I'm pumping the gas, and I can feel him looking at me, should I say. So I say all that to say that I'm pumping the gas, and he just turned around and kind of, because his car was facing this way and mine was facing this way or whatever the case may be. But I'm always observing my surroundings. But I say all that to say that he just kind of turned around, and he just was kind of staring in a sense. So I was just like, I said, can I help you? And then he's like, excuse me? I said, can I help you? And then he was just like, he started mumbling something, but I could tell he got upset because I asked him, can I help him? You know, I'm just wondering if he needed something. And, you know, he kind of, I guess, took offense to that or whatever the case, because he started mumbling and grumbling. And I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, I guess by me asking that question, he got into his feelings, you know. But, you know, I say all that to say that people are really in their feelings right about now. But anyway, so with all that being said, hold on, y'all. I got another dream too. Oh, thank you, Spirit. This one is important too, because what God is trying to tell us. I had another dream to where please, I hope you guys are listening to the end. I know this video may seem long, but it's very important to hear, because even if you have not experienced or you feel like this message isn't resonating with you, does not necessarily mean that it may not resonate with you in the near future. This could start for you in the month of February. This could start for you in the month of March. But try not to dismiss what's coming up, whether you feel like it's applying to you or not. But if you will be divinely guided to hear this message, then I suggest you listen to the end. But of course, you have free will to do what you want to do. And like I said before, I have these 3 decks of cards that Spirit had led me to, so that way you can hear the final message in regards to these prophetic messages. But this other message that came through too, this one's the 3rd one. So I was climbing up like these spiral. Okay, imagine, you know, those stairwells that have a pole in the middle and then they have the spiral going around it. So it was outside, right? But for some particular reason, I was in this Amish area. And I was like, Lord, why are you showing me this? So I was in this Amish area and I climbed up the pole, and me climbing up the pole was me seeing things from a higher perspective. And this is what God wants you to know. So see things from a higher perspective, because what was happening was, I don't know if you guys know, but for those of you who do know how like the Amish people live, and you can look this up for yourself too. I only know this because I've, used to visit Lancaster a lot. Pennsylvania a lot. Like prior to meeting oh God, prior to meeting my spouse that I'm separated from, right? So in other words, like my sister, she had kind of turned us on to that area, because I think she used to, I don't know how she turned us on to that. I don't know, because she was working for the government at the time. Anyway, so we used to go up there a lot, or whatever the case may be. We used to like to go up to Amish town in Reading, Pennsylvania, to the little outlets or whatever when we was younger. So anyway, but with that being said, I was climbing up on this spiral staircase that has a pole there in the middle, and I went up, not all the way up, but I went up just enough to be able to see down and to see what was happening. There was no fence or nothing there, but God just wanted me to go up so that way I can see things from a higher perspective and understand the message that he was trying to give me. So as I was looking down, I thought to myself, oh, those are the Amish people. Because what had happened was, I didn't see their houses nearby, because usually Amish people have the houses, if I'm quoting the information right, Amish people usually have their houses off at a distance, but then they have like a little telephone booth kind of like away from their house. So they don't have phones inside the house. So what I saw was people making these calls inside these little booth boxes. It's not like an old telephone booth that was made of glass. I think theirs might be made of wood, if I'm not mistaken. But so it was a little area that they go in to make telephone calls, I guess, in case of emergency or whatever the case may be, or get in contact with people. But anyway, I saw some Amish people in like these different little booths going to make telephone calls. And at first I was like, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? I was like, okay, I see them making telephone calls, and I even want to say I felt like some of them were probably using a bathroom outside in like an outhouse or something similar to that as well too. So I kind of got a feeling like there was some that had little wooden booths with the little telephone in it. And then I felt like some was kind of like the outhouses, where they used to have outhouses with bathrooms. And I was like, Lord, okay, where you going with this message? And then at first I thought to myself, if you think about it, because I was like, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? And then God was just speaking to me and said, you know how the Amish live like a simple life? God wants us to go back to living a simple life. In other words, and it's about to get a little long-winded here. So, and I say that to say, when people, and let me tell you, like me growing up, when I was probably about 3.5, 4 years old, we didn't have an outhouse, but honestly, we used to have to use the bathroom in paint buckets or whatever, because at this point in time, where I lived at, they didn't have an installed bathroom, and it wasn't until after we left years later, as she was getting older, that they installed a bathroom. But that's just how old it was. And this is why I told you I grew up on a farm when you had to, go get the corn out of the barn and shuck the corn from the cornfields, and pick the vegetables out of the gardens, and all that other stuff, and go feed the cows and get the eggs from the chicken hen in the morning. God wants us to go back to that simple type living. That's what he's trying to say. We have definitely, and I know because people was using a telephone booth outside, he's definitely trying to tell us all these electronic devices and stuff that we have in our home is affecting us in a way that we don't even realize. Thank you, Spirit. And I say that to say, because I remember which is so funny. And this is confirmation because Spirit is giving it to me. I remember seeing a family member taking their TV down from out of their house. Well, they didn't take it out of the house, but they was taking it down. It's one of those smart TVs. Actually, 2 of them, should I say. And I say all that to say, like, they had received some information that Spirit was giving them to let them know, like, how they have been controlled. You know, for those of you guys who kind of, you know, when we sit here and watch movies, or let's just say if you have regular cable, I noticed that sometimes even with like, let's just say like with the little option plans that we have for different option plans that we have for as cable now, with the Fire Stick or, you know, Sling or whatever, where you can kind of choose your own package rather than cable and stuff. You know, I'm starting to see that they're starting to do a little bit more of these commercials, whereas before there was less commercials, unlike when you had regular cable, you know, through Cox or, you know, Verizon or whoever the case may be, where you saw just kind of any and everything. So slowly but surely, I'm trying to see it, trying to creep in, like with more of their commercials and stuff, because they realize people aren't falling for the okie doke anymore. And I say all that to say, because we have been in a situation to where we have been programmed for so long. And I say all that to say, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm getting preachy here, because I'm not done. I have like two more messages, but I say all that to say that we're getting to the point that we're starting to see the truth, and this whole great awakening is a part of us seeing the truth, you know, seeing how we've been lied to, as Michael Meck said, you know, see how we've been bamboozled, you know. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock, you know, may it so rest in peace. But I say all that to say that, you know, we have been controlled to, I told you guys, I kept hearing silver and gold, silver and gold. I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. Some of you guys are going to get to that point. You're going to get to that point, because it's almost like God is going to shake your world upside down to the point that you're going to be like, oh my God, like I completely surrender. It to the point of, you know, you like, fuck money, fuck my home. Or I don't mean it like that, but I'm just saying, it's almost like, I don't care. You can have everything that I have. I just want a relationship with you. And I'm seeing that starting to happen, like, in a sense of people may even abandon their homes, should I say, just to have that relationship with God, so a spirit. You know, it's going to be different for everybody, but it's just going to be to a point, you know, if you've been so money driven, and if money was like, you made money your priority, you put money up on that pedestal, you know, you held on to money so tight to the point that, you know, you didn't even want to lend somebody $1 or whatever the case may be. Or even if you know, just if you worship money, if you worship anything other than God, so a spirit, let me just say this, like you're gonna have a great revelation, is what I'm hearing Spirit say. And I don't mean to scare anybody, so don't be afraid. And I'm only telling you this because I have been through it. I've went through it so that way I can help assist souls, you know, because I've been through it. I know it. I understand it. That's why I'm here on this platform. You know, where there was people that I was listening to at one point that was kind of help leading and guiding me. So it's almost like they've kind of been relieved of their duties in a sense, not too much, but a little pulled back. And it's almost like another group of people come and share their experiences of things that they had to experience and went through, and so on and so on. But I say all that to say that we're getting to a place that we need to come back into our power. And God wants us to come back into our power. He wants us to know that united we stand, divided that we fall. And yes, right now it seems like we're going through a division to where people need to be isolated, because they're healing, and they weren't meant to be codependent like they were before on having people pacify their feelings, or having people, oh, are you okay? Or are you okay? Oh, don't cry, you know, pacifying everything away. No, trauma bonding is what I'm hearing. You know, he doesn't want any of that. He wants you to completely feel what it is that it is coming up for you, and not allow somebody else to soften your blow in a sense, or soften your ego for what you're feeling, because he really wants you to feel it. It's almost, and what I'm hearing Spirit say, it's almost like when Jesus was nailed to the cross and he felt every anguish of every pain. He wants you to feel that, because the only way to heal it is to feel it. You know, you first have to feel it in order to heal it. And trust me when I tell you, I had to feel every ounce of it. And I will definitely say this, there was a point to the time that I saw so much stuff that just kind of overwhelmed me. I wasn't too overwhelmed by it, but I was thankful for the message that I was receiving of why me and this person was having issues with each other, and God was just revealing things to me. And it's going to be different for everybody, because some of you guys may even find yourself seeing yourself in a whole way that you never saw yourself in the light before. You like, damn, I was like that, you know, to the point that you may find yourself being hard on yourself. But I'm trying to tell you, don't be hard on yourself. Just process what's coming up. Just accept it, because some of us realize that we're walking this earth and we like, you know, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. And true enough, we are good people. But God wants us also to embrace that side of us that wasn't so good as well too. Because in order to have the light, you also have to have the dark, you know. And I say all that to say, remember, the yin and yang is about balance. You can't just have too much of one, but you it's like you have to have both. So I say all that to say, God is allowing you to sit in that, so that way you can feel it again and just accept that side of yourself, you know, as well too. Does that mean that we continue on that path of how we once was? No. Just know that there's room for us to evolve and to grow, and to not operate in that energy again, should I say. Because I mean, when I tell you that some of you guys are gonna be shocked to find out some of the things that you were in a past life, you know, you're not gonna be too happy with it. You know, some of you guys may find out that you were assassins in past life. Some of you guys may find out that, you know, it was a situation of that may have involved children in past life, you know. And I'm not putting it out there to cause anyone to fear, but this is just God just revealing stuff to us, you know, just letting us know, no, we're not perfect. You know, we're not perfect. Even if we try to perceive to the world that we're perfect, we're really not perfect. But God does accept us how we are. He just wants us to know, hey, you got another side of you too. That's not so perfect. But I do want you to I want you to embrace that side of you. It's your dark side, but that's your old side, and going forward you can release that now, because now you're starting over, and that was the old you, in a sense, if that makes sense. Because like I said, going into this new paradigm, it's about a new shift. We can't take that old energy with us. But anyway, let me finish this. Oh, but let me say this too, because Spirit is telling me we were meant to reclaim back our power. So as long as all this yucky stuff is coming up that we don't want to deal with, that we're trying to process, once you process it and you deal with it and heal it, it's almost like now you can feel empowered all over again. It's like starting back over at 0 point. You don't have all that stuff hanging on to you like this, that's dragging you down and keeping you back and holding you back. And, you know, you're not bickering and arguing with people. You're not doing things and moving in the same way that you moved before. But what I'm hearing Spirit say, we're moving in a higher vibration to back to where we once were, or like we had God's source spirit up here, and we what I'm hearing is we worshiped, we put him first. He was our Godhead is what I'm hearing, you know. He's our Godhead. Anyway, so again, he's only bringing this up for us to be enlightened, so that we can reclaim back our power, in a sense. No, we're not going to reclaim back our power right away, but there are going to be things and situations along the way that's going to allow us to eventually start to reclaim back our power. So that we stand in confidence and reassurance and accepting ourselves never than we ever have before, and realizing that we cannot be lied to any longer, knowing that we cannot accept any BS from people any longer. When I say people, I'm talking about those people who have been telling us that, hey, you know, in order to thrive in life, you need to have this, and that. You need to be working this job. You need to be doing this and doing that. Because the truth of the matter is, most of these people who have been running the country, should I say, trust me when I tell you, I remember hearing, I'm sorry, I'm off topic right now. I remember hearing, was it in not Hidden Colors, anyway, I remember reading this, listening to this document. I'm sorry, you remember what that documentary was called? Not Hidden Colors, but the other one. There's another documentary on not Hidden Colors. Hidden Figures, Hidden Colors. Was it Hidden Colors? I don't know. Anyway, where it was talking about it was just giving you kind of the background on things that was just happening behind the scenes that a lot of people cannot see with their, physical eye. And these are people or historians who have, pretty much went through the history and so on and so on. I think it had Mike in it. Was it Mike or Technon? Is that his name? No. Oh God, I forgot his name. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is they was just talking about, I remember this documentary, if this is the right one I'm talking about. I remember them talking about these people who run the country, they also have astrologers too. So therefore, if they have astrologers, people who can kind of predict or tell you, what these lineups are going to happen, so on and so on, just like, we all have our own astrology charts of the time we was born and so on and so on. Well, the United States also have their own astrology chart too of things that happen, events that happen and so on and so on. So I say all that to say they have astrologers too. So they move and they navigate on ways based off the information that they receive from, like, let's say astrologers. They probably have like witches, warlocks, and wizards working for them as well too. I'm sure they do, in order to be able to try to manipulate in some sort of way. So anytime you see them having these meetings and so on, it's always about mind tactics. When you think about the Willie Lynch experiment, should I say, because I read that probably back in 2017, I think it was. I really read it for the first time and just see just a little tactics of mindset, of just stuff like that, just, oh, well, you know what? Well, let's give them these jobs and make them think that, if they're making this much money, we can keep getting them to work for us. Well, the truth of the matter is they want to know that if they can keep you working for them, they benefit off that some way, somehow. But if you're working for yourself, you're benefiting from that fully and not them, should I say. So if they find ways of keeping you caught up in the cycles of, hey, let's get this job, it's secure, this job is secure, it has benefits, it has this, it has that, but in all reality, they want you to work like a dog, they want you to work like a slave, they want you to work so much to the point that you don't even got time for your family, and you thinking, yeah, well, keeping a roof over our head, and yeah, we got these good benefits, and we could drive these nice ass cars, and so on, but yet at the same time, it's like, you have all that, but where's your family? So sometimes your family can suffer in a process of you running after everything. And then the truth of the matter is, if all that's taken away, what do you have left? So if your family decides to leave, if you have a family, if your family decides whether you're married or not married, or in a relationship or not in a relationship, the truth of the matter is, if those people leave, then what do you have left after you just, ran after everything that you thought was nothing more than a false idol, should I say? Because it's all about, if we keep rewarding them with this and rewarding them with that, we can keep getting them to jump over hurdles and hoops and getting them to do what they want to do. Truth of the matter is, and I'm hearing spirit say, sometimes, even these jobs may offer bonuses, like the whole Amazon thing that they was telling their employees that they were going to give them, and then they snatched it back and decided that they weren't going to give it to them at all. Anybody can offer you a false hope. People may sit there and say, and I'm also hearing spirit, thank you, spirit. I'm also hearing spirit say, like, they can tell you that I'm giving you this bonus this year, but then one year it may be like, well, we don't have the funds this year, because blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that happened. I guarantee you the truth of the matter is, they who are running that company are going to make sure that they get their bonuses, but they're going to make sure that you don't get yours, in a sense. So I say all that to say that God wants us to go back to a simple life. It's easier when, if you think about the Amish people, they work for themselves. They have their own animals, they do the whole bartering system is what I'm hearing spirit say. They go to the markets, they sell their products. That's how God wants us to get back to a simple life, rather than chasing money. I'm not saying you don't need money to live, but even if it's in exchange of, hey, I have this to offer, and in exchange for that, I'll exchange you for this. The whole bartering system is what I'm hearing. So again, God wants us to go back to a simple life, rather than being stressed, dealing with trauma, neglecting our families, and I say our families, and let me say that too, because Spirit is also telling me that some of you guys are with people and they're not even who you're supposed to be with. I know that's hard to hear, and I'm not wishing nothing on anybody's relationship. I'm just here to tell you who you think that you are with. Some of you think that that is your lifelong partner, and you may find yourself being a little disappointed if you don't go with the flow, in a sense of, even if God says, hey, release, let go. You know, if you try to hold on tight, you're just going to make it worse. But if you just release and go with the flow and just accept what is happening without trying to control the situation, either one or two things is going to happen. If this person was meant to be back in your life, they will come back in your life, but they will come back in a different way than what they were before. Healed, dealing with their issues, dealing with their trauma, dealing with their childhood issues, dealing with their family issues, dealing with their generational issues, because yes, we all have different generational traumas, curses, you know, and let me tell you like this, the curse is broken, but we're still trying to heal from it. When Jesus went to the cross, he nailed that curse on the cross, but we are still trying to heal from it. That doesn't mean that we're not trying to heal from it. Just because it was nailed to the cross doesn't mean that we gotta not put in any work, because we have to put in work to heal what was done going forward. So again, the curse has been broken again when Jesus was nailed to the cross, but now it is time to heal the bloodlines. And I say that to say, you start by healing yourself. When people see that you are shifting, you are thinking, I see 555 five. Y'all don't know. Well, if you don't know, 555, I saw 4 5s. It was 5555. 5 means change. And it said 555, just as I said that. So I say all that to say that, you know, when you heal, because this whole process is about people healing individually, when you heal and people see that you're changing and shifting, you also shift and change something else in your family dynamic, you know, with other people, you know, whether it be a spouse or whether it be kids, whether it be a family member or whatever the case may be. But it's so more importantly is to just let go. And I know sometimes it's hard to let go, but even like myself, when you saw me sobbing the other day, you know, it's hard to see, you know, my heart goes out to people that's hurting, you know. And I don't say that to say that, you know, that doesn't make me that doesn't make me weak because I cry. So please don't be in that mindset. If you see somebody crying, does not necessarily mean that they're weak. It's just that they have healthy emotions. They know how to release that rather than trying to hold on to it. But anyway, let me get to the last messages. Okay, so you understand that. The situation of just God wanting us to go back to a simple life. Imagine if we go back to a simple life, we're able to spend time with our family. We're able to spend time of, you know, doing what we love, you know, which something that makes us happy rather than doing something that does not make us happy is what I'm hearing Spirit say. You know, feeling like, oh, I got to get up and go to work today. I got to make $1 so I can pay the bills. No, what if you work for yourself, but you get to do something that you love? And I ain't understand that when God was trying to tell me that back in 2018, because I love kids, okay? Although I'm not in a classroom anymore, I had to release that, but I'm still involved with kids, but in a different way. In a way that I see fit in a sense, because that cycle was getting so old for me, like doing the same thing 27 years, you know, it's just like, okay, that's old now. Like I'm tired of that. I want something new. So I still get to be involved with kids, but in a way that I want to, and not have to, you know, go through the county and do what the county tells me to do, or you need to do this, you need to do that, all this paperwork. I've always felt like anybody who did in-home childcare, and if anybody who's watching my channel who does in-home childcare, I think their rules are so BS. They have you doing more paperwork than you are able to really to give quality care to the kids. Now, granted, I made it a point to give quality care, but at the same time, it's almost like the paperwork can be a pain in the ass, because it's like, do this, do this, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that. But it's almost like it takes away from really being able to spend time with the kids in a sense. So I've always thought that was bullshit, and that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, but again, I always gave care based on treating people how I wanted to be treated. So yes, paperwork was involved, and I tried to make it a point to be, you know, thorough in my paperwork or whatever the case may be. But I'm just here to tell you, it's bullshit, should I say. I'm not saying that anybody dealing with kids should not be investigated, because I do believe in all that, doing background checks and all that other stuff. Those are the important stuff. I'm just talking about just little unnecessary stuff of, you know, just unnecessary stuff that could be done away with, but improving the quality of just making sure the kids are cared for and protected. And not only that, but that will go back to the whole social service system. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just like on the road. Like social services, you know, I think that they could do a much better job with being mindful of these homes that they really place these kids into, especially when they find out that kids are being either abused, you know, like the situation that's coming to mind. Thank you, Spirit. The situation that's coming to mind, the lady who had, I don't know if it was the family of 3, and she ended up driving a car into the water with the kids in it. Or she drove the car into, I don't know, I can't remember if. Anyway, the point of the matter I'm trying to make is, you know, we got to start holding people accountable for just, even if it means the traditional system, traditional system, and, you know, the whole system of how they, operate in a sense. Because, you know, you hear people, or you hear Congress say for the people, by the people, but they're not really for the people. So it's coming to a point in time that we are able to stand up and come up with our own rules, that are able to protect kids in a way, in whatever shape or form. So, you know, just being mindful of that, but not doing it from a 3D perspective, but doing it for more of a 5D perspective, which is a higher perspective. As I said before, you know, when I went up the spiral stairs, I was seeing things from a higher perspective in a sense. So again, that doesn't mean go out here and hurt, harm, or injure someone. That's not what I'm saying. It's about having morals, value, integrity, self-respect, you know, and treating others how you want to be treated, you know, treating people's kids how you want somebody to treat your kids. Going back to that whole system of it takes a village to raise a child. I've always had that mindset. As a matter of fact, there's a picture over here on the wall with like, with all these people holding up this baby, right? and I just saw 11 with these people holding up the baby, and it's just trying to say it takes a village to raise a child, you know? So I say all that to say, you know, God is just trying to get us back to that mindset. It was so much easier. It was so much simpler, you know? Anyway, so the next message was, some of you guys may find yourself having a family meeting, should I say, because in this dream, I felt like you may have a situation that may arise, and it's almost like you're going to want to, now whether the people are going to do it or not, I don't know, but it kind of came in a form as if I was saying something about a family meeting, and then I remember kind of like pulling on the side of the road, and another family member was kind of following behind me in a sense. That was letting me know that there was being a gathering. But everybody has free will. Some people may not, some people may agree, and some people may not agree on the message that's being given, but you have to understand, whatever it is, you always put yourself in someone else's shoes. In other words, you treat people how you want to be treated. You know, don't make choices based off of what you feel like, because you coming from your feelings, your thoughts, and your emotions of what you feel like is best for whoever it is that you having a meeting for, but basing it off of, you know, what if this was me in that situation? You know what I mean? Wouldn't I want to have some say so in regards to somebody telling me what it is that I have to do in a sense? So that's the mindset that you're meant to come from. And then this last, okay, so I'm not going to even base this last. I'm going to just wait for confirmation on this one, but I'm going to leave that one open. But anyway, let me give you guys this message so I can go on with my day. All right, Spirit, which one are we using first? All right, thank you, Spirit. I know that was an earful. I hope y'all stand with me to the end just to hear what Spirit has to say. Spirit, please make it plain and simple. And just one card, please. Just one card, please. You give me too many cards, I'm going to put it back. Just one card. Please make it plain and simple. Only call in pure white light and pure Christian love. Thank you, Spirit. Please tell the collective what they need to know in regard to this message. And this is my crystal deck. So this is talking about like past life and things that we're trying to heal. What message do you have for the collective of things that are being healed? Of things that are being healed from past life or other dimensions. Please make it plain and simple. Excuse me. This one card, please, Spirit. Oh, God. Gave me 3. We have garnet, rainbow Mayanite, and we have Herkimer diamond. Herkimer diamond. Garnet is my stone color. Anyway, so garnet, it means passion. Garnet is a rejuvenating stone believed to protect against evil and terrifying dreams and attract love. Self-understanding. You are a passionate soul with a courageous heart. Be confident and consistent. Let go of your inner demons, taboo inhabitations, and fantasies. Recognize self-sabotaging and expand your awareness into that you can be. Virtual matters to you. You are capable of great devotion to the cause of a relationship and have a strong survival instincts. Divination says, take actions now. A mystery is solved. Have courage. There is a way out. Turn a crisis into a learning challenge. If danger approaches, stay calm. You are protected. Be emotional, honest with yourself and others. You may attract a partner for your sexual healing. Make no long-term commitments, as it may fizzle out once the purpose is fulfilled. So in other words, that's why I was, in regards to the relationship, just be mindful of that. Just go with the flow. As I said, thank you, Spirit. Spirit said, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. So if you meet somebody, don't put into terms, oh, this is the one for me. Oh, this is my lifelong partner. Oh, this is my soulmate. Don't do that. It's holding on to the energy. If you allow it to flow organically, is what I'm hearing, and allow the chips to fall where they may, you're going to see whether it was meant to be or it's not to be. And then it says, sufficient vitamins and minerals support your metabolism for optimum well-being. So funny because it says timing is Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Scorpio, which we are coming up on Cancer. I believe we're in Cancer's new moon, and we're coming up on Taurus. Oh, I'm sorry. I read the wrong one. So sorry. Not that part. Oh, no. Sorry. I did read that part right. I just read that last part. It says finding an appropriate outlet for your passion and your emotions creates well-being. As I said before, dance. Oh, did I say that? Or was I saying it to myself? Dance, sing, do anything, arts and crafts. I told you guys before that some of you guys need to tap into that energy. When you feed that energy, it's going to kind of bring you more creative direction of where you need to go. So painting, granted, I saw somebody dealing with tissue paper or whatever as arts and crafts, but whatever it may be, instrument, take it how it resonates. Gardening, whatever, just that helps you to move the energy throughout your body, especially dancing. So 22. So the rainbow Mayanite bridge this world and the rest of creation. It heals unconditional and assists in the shift to a new level of consciousness. And I told you we were seeing things from a different perspective. Self-understanding. You are a leader. When you raise your vibration, the whole benefits. De-energize old patterns, release karmic incrustations and toxic, dolls from your etheric body. The crystals will assist in this. Go within to find your rainbow treasures, your rainbow treasure house. Raise your consciousness to build new supportive structures at every level. And I just said that, seeing things from a higher perspective. I told you about going about the old way of doing things, a simple life. Recognizing divinations, recognizing how your soul is maneuvering you into your true path. Apparently, dismantling situations offer soul gifts. And that's so true, because I had to release people family members, let go of, people who were dear to me, should I say. I really had to release and let go, which is so funny because my daughter was like about 4 months old when God had gave me the revelation of when 4 months old. And I remember telling my spouse at the time, I said, God had revealed to me that you and 2 other people in my life were in my life, should I say. So that was heartbreaking because I felt like at that time I didn't know, but at that time I felt like it was some sort of rapture of some sort, in a sense, like almost like God had taken them away from me, in a sense. So I say all that to say that was my daughter's about to be 22, and I said that was almost 20 something years ago, like when God had gave me that revelation. And those are the times that that we are in now. So even if God gives you a dream or something, we never know when it's going to transpire. That's why it's meant for us to watch and wait. Hear the revelation, but watch, wait, and see. Anyway, release karmic incrustations. Am I on the right one? Oh, release karmic incrustations and toxic dolls from your etheric body. The crystals will assist in this. Going within to find your rainbow treasure house. Raise your consciousness to build new support structures at every level. That could be your home, your relationships, what you want to do in life, your whole mindset of, your value system, your integrity. If you didn't have any before, now you put in place things in place before. You having a personal relationship with God. For those who have not and have been running. Now, I'm not going to necessarily say running, because I know right now, because a lot of people have been, thank you, Spirit, because I know a lot of people have been more so in the 3D mindset, meaning this physical world, and chasing after the physical possessions, should I say. It's almost like these entities, the demonics, all of these things play a factor in kind of trying to keep you off your game, whether it's through other people, whether it's through, the love of money, or whether it's through all of it is false. All of it is false, and it was meant to make you feel like a false sense of hope, in a sense, is what I'm hearing Spirit say. It was all false. It's not even real. So it's almost like you built this fake life that's crumbling now, to the point of, everything that you built and worked for, it's almost like it's crumbling. Some may have the situation that it's crumbling abruptly, and some may have the situation that it's doing a transition, a slow transition over from whatever it may be. I don't want to say specifically, but a slow transition into, to new things, in a sense. So it's not just abrupt, because for me, it was abrupt. It was like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. So I say all that to say, with others, it was is almost like a easing out, a phasing out, in a sense. But anyway, where are we at? Okay. So divination is recognizing how your soul is maneuvering you into your true path. Apparently, the terminal situations offer soul gifts. Re-examine projects and let go of those that are not for your highest good or that of others. You see things from both sides. Always speak the truth no matter what the cost is, but be tactful. And I've said that before. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You treat people how you want to be treated. You talk to people how you want to be talked to, and those are just things to be, remembered. And then it says, you can see things from both sides. Always speak the truth no matter what. I read that already. The cost, but be tactful. You have a nurturing, healing ability. Focus it wisely. So in other words, I know during this time, we're meant to try to stay focused on whatever it is that we're focusing on. And hopefully it's the positive, because right about now, for those of us who are empaths, it's like we pick up, it's like having an antenna signal off of our head. For those who are empaths, and some of us are empaths and we don't even know that we're empaths, so I'm just telling you. But if you're someone who really cares, whether you show it or not, but you really care deep down inside about people and so on, the truth of the matter is Sometimes it can come off in an unhealthy way, but realistically, that's only because it's coming off in an unhealthy way because of being more so in a 3D consciousness rather than more of in a 5D consciousness, in a sense where you realize that you care about people, but it's not from an unhealthy perspective. So in other words, you realize that just because you're not around somebody, well, just because you love somebody does not necessarily mean that you have to be around them. So in other words, if the other person needs to heal, or if you need to heal, you can accept the fact that you need to heal, or either they need to heal on their own, and you can accept the fact that I can still love this person from a distance, in other words. So anyway, it says healing insight, letting go attunes you to the realm of infinite possibilities. Which is so funny because it's talking about the soul star and the stellar getaway recalibrates all of the optimist functions. And this is during the whole Aquarius, told you the age of Aquarius or whatever, Aquarius season. And I believe that's shifting on the 18th or today, either today or the 20th, something like that. Anyway, the Hermite diamond, Herkimer diamond. Okay, anyway, you can see it. 46. Okay, so the Herkimer diamond is instant energy. Powerful energy generates that access and release past life information. See, I just told you. Remember I said that the tampon was like pulling out? I'm not trying to gross anybody out. Just don't even look at it from a monthly cycle point of view, but just imagine a tampon being pulled out, whether it's in a female or whether male, and it's like the plug is being released. The little string is being pulled out. It's like God is pulling it out. So everything that's from here all down to here is just being pulled out. Every tense moment that you have had, every stored up emotion that's in your muscles, in your tissue, every past life situations to where you was tense and rigid. Every past life situation where you was tense and rigid, for every trauma and every situation that you had to deal with, all that stuff is stored in your DNA, up in the organ system, the muscles, and so on and so on. So I say all that to say, like, that stuff gotta go, in a sense. And if you try holding on to it, remember I just said it just creates dis-ease, okay? Anyway, when you were really meant to let it go. Herkimer diamond makes excellent shields against geopathic stress and EFMs, the electromagnetic fields. I just said that. Remember I talked about the TVs, the cell phones, and all the other stuff that we have in our homes and everything. Remember when I did that video some time ago, I said be careful what AI products that you bring into your home, like literally. And I know that society come out with these new things, but these new things were meant to just kind of be stumbling blocks. You know what I mean? Like stumbling blocks. Like let me tell you, my cell phone is so old. Like I didn't even bother about updating my phone. One, because I wasn't trying to spend a whole lot of money on the phone. I was like, Lord, if my phone works and if you keep allowing it to work, I'm going to keep my phone because it's simple and it ain't all that other stuff. I just feel like all these other phones and smartphones, see, me, I'm about old school way of doing things. And I think that had a lot to do with my upbringing. We're, again, growing up on a farm for about a year or so. I know how to make do, in other words, and I don't have to be with the latest gadgets or this or that. And, and I'm not judging anybody who does, but I just know, like, for me, I think it's not necessary. And I give you a classic example. Like when it came out with the little, what do you call those things? I think the little Siri, is it Siri that people have in their living rooms, the little speaker? Oh, Alexa. The little Alexa things and all that other stuff that people be bringing into their homes because they don't want to get up off the couch, or telling Alexa to turn off the TV, or Alexa, turn on my alarm, or Alexa, turn off that light, or Alexa, clap on or clap off, or however it may work. I don't trust that stuff. I don't, because I truly believe that if you got Alexa up in your home and she's doing all these things that you asking her to do, you best to believe somebody's over on the other end listening, you know, to what's going on in people's homes. It's bad enough, like I got this alarm system to where that you know, I got this alarm system to, and it's been here for a minute, but you know, prior to me waking up to the truth, I was just like, sometimes I be putting stuff over the speaker part because, you know, let's just say like if somebody is designed to where if they're able to hear on the other end, if I punch in a code, an emergency code, letting them know, like letting someone know that there's someone who should not be here that's in the home. So in other words, okay, I'm not gonna get into all that, but the point of the matter is I'm trying to make is, you know, you never know who's listening over on the other end. So it's almost like there's no sense of privacy. So if you think about, that's just an alarm system. So if people bring in Alexa into their home, you know, and even what's the thing when you speak on your phone and then you ask, is it the Google? That's still the same thing? Oh, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Anyway, so, and then the other thing that you have on your phone too, be like, hey, well, pull up this, pull up my calendar, pull up that, or whatever the case may be. Even that, I just had to enable that or whatever, because I didn't even want to use that or whatever, because I was like, I don't want her to be, because at first, when I first got the phone, it was almost like she kept picking up everything on my phone. So I just had to turn it off and even delete the app that was on there, because I was like, no, I didn't even ask you for stuff at times, and she was just pulling it. So that was just letting me know that, you know, you never know who's trying to listen and so on and so on. But anyway, so if I didn't have to give y'all these messages this way, you know, I wouldn't even be in front of this camera or whatever the case may be. But God was just trying to get me out of my comfort zone, because I would always stay, you know, back in the background, should I say. But anyway, so let me finish, y'all. Where was I at? Okay, so the EMF frequencies, radioactive and determinal earth energy, you may also be physically sensitive and need to clear a block in the third eye. So all of that stuff is meant to keep you blocked, y'all. Keeping you blocked. Them headbuds for the ear, I don't even like putting those things in my ear. Now, granted, I had some before and they kind of broke, and maybe it was a good thing that they broke, but I don't even like putting those in my ear, because you never know what frequency or what they made, nanobots. Thank you, Spirit. What I'm hearing is like the nanobots. You never know what nanobots they may have put in that or whatever, to just to try to alter your frequency in some sort of way. Because the truth of the matter, as long as they keep your frequency down low and keep you vibrating from a physical 3D point of view and a mindset, you know, we've caught up with money, addictions, you know, anything that could be considered unhealthy. Let me say that. Keeping you caught up in patterns, keeping you on a hamster wheel and you not even know that you're there, you know, and energetically, like you thinking, oh, with your physical eye, I can see everything that they're doing. But no, some of this stuff is being done spiritually that you don't even see behind the scenes. But anyway, y'all. So check that you are not living on a negative earth energy line. You may be addicted to your tablet, your mobile phone. Did I just say that? I just said all that. You may be addicted to your tablet, your mobile phone, and receiving the terminal vibes therefrom screens yourself inappropriately. So, healing insight, high vibration, high impact energies can dramatically change your world. And this is talking about springtime, seeing the light. So, okay, Spirit, thank you. Y'all, you're going to see. I'm telling you, when you start to see, please don't judge yourself too harshly. That's all I can say. All right, Spirit, just one from this deck, please. You already gave me 3. I only asked for 1. I know it's your will, not mine, but can we just have 1 card, please? I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Oh, root chakra. Root chakra. It says the frequency. Oh, I'm sorry. The root chakra is where we have like, can possibly hold like a lot of addictions. It's our sense of stability. It's our sense that, you know, our pleasures. You know, it just depends, because every chakra system has a low and a high vibrating frequency to it. So it just depends on which one you're in, whether if it's out of balance, you're basically if it's out of balance, you're basically operating from a, let's just say, sexual addictions, any types of addictions at all, you know, not being stable, not being rooted. It's your sense of stability, okay? Anyway, it says the frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security and physical plane, both in our bodies as well as the physical world. So remember, I did a video yesterday and I talked about, thank you, Spirit. And I talked about legs. I said in a dream, like I had this dream of somebody like having their legs to be, their legs were going through like some sort of therapy. And that could be a sense of somebody physically going through some physical therapy, or somebody's foundation is being altered to the point that it's being like re-healed in a sense. So, all right, we got one last card, y'all. Then I'm ending this message. I never mean to try to have these long messages because I want to hope you guys hearing the message. These are the Lemuria cards. And this is, like I said, a lot of this stuff is coming back from the time of Lemuria as well as the time of Atlantis. Of all this built up anguish, trauma, self-destruction, all of it. Thank you, Spirit. This one card, please. What do you want the collective to know in regards to the message from Lemuria? What do you want the collective to know in regards to the time of Lemuria? What are they healing from the time of Lemuria? What are they healing? One more shuffle, y'all. What are they healing from the time of Lemuria? I only ask for pure white light and pure unconditional love only. Bear with me, y'all, because these cards are kind of wide, too wide for my hands. Just one card, please, Spirit. Transformation. Got transformation. We got earth star chakra, your initiation. This is all a process. I told you guys before that everything we're going through is initiation. And then we have a healing. That's what we're healing. And then it says, where's my book? What? Oh. $53. Transformation. So it says self-nurturing, going within, time alone. Didn't I say that? Time alone. Being present with your feelings, cocooning before the butterfly, being gentle on yourself, an angelic embrace. I just said that. I just said that, right? You need that time alone so you can just process what's coming up. And then the earth star chakra. Thank you, Spirit. I'm sorry, y'all. I love when Spirit shows up. So y'all don't just think that I'm making this stuff up. I'm not worried about it because I know the information that I'm giving is accurate, because sometimes I see it in my day-to-day life, whether it's happening to me or whether it's happening to somebody else in the process. Earth Star Chakra, initiation, oneness, collective consciousness, anchoring transmissions from the higher realms, sacred earth, knowledge, and integration of the divine work with grid lines. So it's just like, it's like God's right there in the center, right? And it's just like he's just connected, that we're all interconnected some way, shape, or form. You know, no matter who I may have had an issue with in the past, it doesn't matter, because we're still connected in some sort of way. Some way we're somehow energetically connected. Somehow we're some way energetically have cords attached to us. I mean, of course, there's unhealthy cords that are being cut. And then there are people who are part of, well, actually, excuse me, all the unhealthy cords are being cut from the trauma of the time of Atlantis, going all the way back to the time of Lemuria. Those unhealthy ones are being cut. Those are the karmic ties. And then you have those healthy cords that is your soul group, it's like plugging in. If you looked at the matrix, it's almost like plugging in to your new timeline, to the people who are meant to be with you in this next chapter of your life, while the old cord was being pulled out and those people no longer serve you in a sense. And even if some of those people, I'm hearing Spirit say, even if some of those people should return, obviously they return in a different way. They're not returning the same way that they once were. As it said before, you know, it's like a butterfly being in a cocoon before the butterfly hatches, in a sense. And then we have healing, because that's what we're healing. We're healing all that shit. It gotta go. And trust me when I tell you, it'd be so liberating. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there are times, even though I have done my healing work, I'm not saying that there aren't things that I need to heal, but because I've done a lot of my healing work before, and more so in 2018 and 2019 and stuff, I say all that to say it's liberating. But for me, what happened was, because so much people was going through stuff once we started dealing with this whole 19 stuff, it almost made me cloak and shield myself from the world, because I just got this feeling like I didn't even want to be around other people, in a sense. It's all, and it was, not, you heard what I said. It's almost like I didn't want to be around other people. That was the energy that was present, because they was pushing the whole 19 thing. Oh, you know, blah, blah this and blah, blah that. And, you know, instilling fear into people. In a sense. But I say all that to say, but then I realized at some time, because at first I was like, I'm not wearing no face mask, but then I realized, you know what, I actually like the face mask, because for me, it's always been like growing up, you know, or just even as a young adult, just seeing people when they cough or sneeze in the air, I'm like, you have no respect. Like, cover your mouth, you know, like, protect other people like you would want people to protect you, in a sense. In other words, like, that's the type of consciousness that we're coming into. You know, my actions, how do they affect other people, in a sense? You know, let me not do this, because it may either hurt, harm, or injure somebody else in the process. So it's gonna be more so like, you know, covering your mouth with a chicken wing sneeze, in a sense. Like, let me keep, because I got a sniffle, let me keep other people from having a sniffle. But I embrace the face mask now, is what I'm trying to say. And I say that to say, because like I said before, I was in Giant like a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago now, and you know, the man literally pulled his mask down just to sneeze in the air, and then he pulled it back up, and I was like, what sense does that make? But anyway, I'm sorry, I was having a judgmental moment, but I just thought that was just straight nasty, or whatever the case may be. And I say all that to say, I guess that's just a lack of how can I say it? Maybe you weren't taught as a child to cover your mouth, or, you know, maybe you weren't taught that. I don't know. So I just had to make sure I came from a place of not to be too judgmental, but thank God I had a mask on in the process. But anyway, so the healing card. Healing, energy rebalance, energetic awareness, healing yourself and others, exploring healing modalities, Reiki. Oh my God, this is like, and it's so funny that this card came out, because earlier Spirit was just telling me before I did this video, I was like, you know, it was like Spirit would speak to me and said, you know, these people who are on your channel, like, they don't listen to some of the stuff that you say, but they're going to come running back to you, wanting you to run into you for, in regards to your needing your assistance for is, Reiki healing, should I say. So it's funny that this came out and how spirit showed up, and you saw me shuffle these cards on the screen, right? So not only am I getting a confirmation of what spirit was giving me earlier, were people going to start reaching out to me in regards, because I know right now it seems like it's something that's over your head, and where I was more open to it when before I had even started learning about Reiki, or even just embracing it, should I say. I was like, really? But I wasn't more skeptical, but I was just like, oh, really? We can do this? I was like, seriously? I was like, God, you a bad bitch. I'm sorry. I wasn't calling God a bitch, but that's just the type of relationship that I had with God. And I say that endearment because if I was talking to, like, let's say a friend, I was like, girl, you a bad bitch, or whatever the case, or not calling her a bitch. But I was like, we can do that? And for me, I was excited, but I was like, oh shit, I was like, I like this stuff, and I was really open to everything that was taking place. But then it was like somewhere along the way, I was like, nope. I was like, I'm cloaking myself from the world, because I just feel like too many people are out here trying to take advantage of people. And okay, anyway, so let me finish, y'all. So anyway, it says, exploring healing modalities, Reiki, the chakra system, your unique and innate abilities to heal, colors, vibrations, soul, sovereignty, auras, and the meridian system, aligning to your highest good and your optimal health. Boom. So for me, that's just a confirmation, because like I said before, God had told me that, a lot of you guys that are on my channel now, and I get it. You're a little hesitant about what I am when I refer to like Reiki. That's why I just kind of stopped saying anything, because I get the feeling I was like, like, I don't believe this, probably think it's some sort of scam or whatever the case may be. But I lied to you not. Anyway, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, because like I said, God done already told me what I need to kind of do in 2022. Just move a little differently than what I did before. So with all that being said, any information, if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, you can check out some of the videos that I already did on some of the chakra system. I did not finish the third eye chakra, which is here, in the crown chakra. So I didn't finish those two, and I know I need to, but please feel free to check out the information that I have already given you in regards to that already, if you care to know. Because there's no pressure. You're not offending me if you choose not to, or whatever the case may be. Because at some point, I know that, you're going to find yourself being interested in a sense. But anyway, so with all that being said, I will eventually get around to finishing, again, the third eye chakra as well as the crown chakra, because those are the ones that help open you up to your intuition. And the crown chakra helps you to open up your whole meridian system in regards to having that God source energy, that chi energy, to flow right through your whole system, from the top of your head all the way down to the base of your tailbone. If I can just kind of give you an image of what that looks like. So anyway, y'all, I want to say this. I realize that society is keeping people caught up. They don't want them to have that relationship with God, so a spirit, because they feel like if they keep the collective with thinking like in their mindset of like, oh, is God real? Really, when I tell you that these demons, thank you, spirit. I didn't even know where I was going with this conversation, because it was like it was told to me earlier to say something, but I totally forgot. So thank you, spirit. So it's almost like these demons, entities, and these people who are up in the higher ups that does everything in their power, whether it be through chemtrails or whatever the case may be, to keep you caught up. I say all that to say that it's almost like they don't want you to have that relationship with God. So if they can keep you in that mindset of thinking that, oh, God's not real. Oh, well, God wouldn't allow you to go through all this that you're going through. Oh, God would allow your path to be easy. No, God even tested his own son. So I say all that to say, who are you to say whether God is, who are you to say that God isn't real? Because again, he tested his own son, he tested him in the wilderness, he tested the children of Israel. So the Israelites, so we all, the truth of the matter is when you go through something, it just makes you stronger. You know, so that's all God is trying to do, is just get us to a place of being strong. When Jesus had to stand by himself, even when he thought one of his disciples was for him, which is the times that we're in now, that some of you guys are seeing that the people who you thought were for you was actually really against you in a sense. But again, it's not coming from a place of judgment. It's just that God is just revealing that information to you so that you know what was hidden underneath the surface all that time. Not so that you can be angry, but just so you can know. And he wants us to have that personal relationship with us, if you so choose to. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm just telling you my story. I've always had a relation, not always, but I developed a relationship with God more so probably when I was probably somewhere around 14. I didn't become saved until I was probably like in my 20s. I became saved like through the church, should I say, somewhere around 23 maybe, or something like that. But I say all that to say that, you know, I know some of us have questioned because we've been through so much. We even question our relationship with God. We question our relationship with God because of the people around us, because of the things that we saw, because of the way that we saw people act. But the truth of the matter is, you can't go based off the way you see other people act. What you have to do is go based off your personal relationship, because honestly, what if I tell you that if you saw the way other people act, that was just a catalyst to keep you from doing what it was that you needed to do for us having a relationship with him? In other words, it was meant to keep you tripped up, stumbled up, caught up, and block you from saying, you know what, I saw this person and that person doing this and I saw them doing that, so I don't even believe in God. I don't even think he's real, and so on and so on. But the truth of the matter is, how you know if God wasn't even testing you back then? So I say all that to say that, you know, sometimes you have to realize thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, because this came to me early and I totally forgot because I didn't write it down. Because I clearly remembered the closer I got to God, and I'm telling you, this is around about the time that I was pregnant with my son. One point in time, I kind of stopped reading the word a little bit in regards to when I was pregnant with my son. So we're around about the age of 32. Well, I had him at 32, so I was somewhere around probably 31 or whatever the case may be. But I kind of stopped reading my Bible like I would normally do in a sense. But I felt like when I was pregnant with him, I wanted to get back into the word. So as I was trying to get back into the word, I started experiencing so many attacks from demons and negative entities. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm saying this now because I'm just telling you, because it was meant to come up and it was meant to come out. Because like I said, I thought about it earlier. I was doing something, just got out the shower, so I didn't have time. I got a little sidetracked. God be giving me stuff so much sometimes that I'm doing something, and in the process, I don't have time to write it down. But I say all to say, some of you guys are going to find yourself being challenged the most when you try to have that relationship with God. And the reason why that's happening is because one of two things. First, you have to remember that God orders all things. So yes, he will allow the enemy to test you. He will allow the enemy to test you. And I say that to say, because like I said about Job, God said, well, have you tried my servant Job? And Job was his first faithful servant. So God allowed the enemy to test Job. And I mean, really test Job. And some of you guys are experiencing, and if you're not experiencing it, some of you may find yourself experiencing it. Some of you relatives may be experiencing it, really being tested, you know, by just like having abrupt changes, just feeling like there's no hope or whatever the case may be. But just know that through every storm, that there is a clearing, and there is a clearness, and there's a rainbow on the other side. Just like the Noah's Ark. You know, when God said that there was a storm going to be coming, people laughed at Noah and kikied at him. When God told him to get every animal of every kind, 2 animals of every kind, male and female, and put them on an ark, everybody looked at Noah and kind of he laughed at him. You know, I'm sure I was like a Noah in my neighborhood. People looked at me as like, oh my gosh, he's changed. And I'm pretty sure people thought I was doing witchcraft, and that's far from it, because I was doing something that I've never done before. In other words, I wasn't sitting there kikiing with them anymore, because I know that I've had certain neighbors who just kind of talk about other people, and I didn't want to be a part of that, because I've said something to them, let's just say before going on my journey in regards to that. But I say all that to say, not the finger point, But I say all that to say that, I was no longer being a fake and a phony with them. I was no longer saying, hey, how you doing? Or, accepting food from people who was wishing me and my family ill will, when they was coming as if they was coming in peace, but they were coming more so like Judas. I say all that to say, when I cut all of that out, they started looking at me like, well, what's wrong with her? And then I truly believe that they was looking at me like I was a witch, which was so funny because before going on to this journey and before 2018, when me and my spouse separated, it's so funny because the man across the street, which was so funny, and I actually had no idea, and I was like, okay, what does he mean by that? I didn't even know, but God would use people, even people who don't really care for you. They would say stuff, and it's up to you to put the puzzle pieces together. So I say all that to say, this was a Caucasian man across the street, and he had actually said, he just came out randomly and said, when I was talking to one of the neighbors across the street, he said, hey, did you ever know that there was some witches of Salem? Some of them were black, right? And I was like, where is he coming from with this? He said, I'm serious, like they were black. And I really believe that maybe he was getting a revelation that maybe I hadn't received before, because I'm realizing that sometimes people receive information prior to you getting it, should I say. And I say all that to say, when he said that, he just kept pushing it. Yeah, those witches were black. Some of them were black. They were black witches, right? And I was looking at him like, why does he keep saying that? But then lo and behold, some time had went on, right? And I started to realize that I myself was a witch. And I don't mean a witch in a bad way, and I don't know, because I only go by what God had showed me or whatever. I can definitely tell you I was a witch, a healing witch, should I say, and I help people to heal. And that's all I've been revealed to so far, unless God showed me otherwise, but I remember like my Reiki teacher, should I say, I remember me doing a Reiki session with her one time because, part of the process was you had to have so many training hours of giving people Reiki for free, should I say, as a classic example. I'm not going to tell her name, but as a classic example. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, well, can I use you as one of those, practice people? And she said, sure. And I remember her telling me, like, when I was giving her a Reiki session, I helped open her up to the energy of, she was able to see into her past life. And she said she could smell smoke. I smelt it too, in a sense, but for me, it wasn't very pronounced. It was just a little settled, but she really smelled smoke. And she told me she could smell herself being burnt at the stake, of being a witch in a past life, should I say. So I only say that and share that to just to let you know that whether you realize it or not, just some witches out here, you just have to be mindful of the people you go. And I'm pretty sure go with who you feel is comfortable for you, and that's why it's important to listen to your intuition as well as your gut. But I'm not here to talk about Reiki, but I'm only saying that to say to piggyback off what he was talking about for the witch thing. But I say all that to say that God wants you to know that there are going to be things that is going to test you along the way. And just because they're testing you does not mean that God does not love you. I'm here, don't take it personal. I know for me, I had to not take some things personal, because I was like, Lord, I have to trust you. I know your word can't come back void. Your word can't come back void, because if it does, that means you're a lie. And I know you're not a lie in a sense, but you said that me and my family are protected, and I have to believe that and stand on it. You and your loved ones are protected. So I say all that to say, you have to understand that the enemy will come and try to test you, but remember that everything is ordered by God. So whether you like the situation or not, just if you look at it from a higher perspective and say, you know what, okay, I can see that God is allowing the enemy to test me, so that way I can learn whatever lesson I need to learn, rather than looking at it as like, oh my God, the enemy is out here and he's just constantly testing me. No, if you look at it from a higher perspective and know that, again, God orders everything, it'll help you maneuver through that transition so much more. Just like, it's like a father chastising his child. In other words, like, child, the stove is hot, don't touch it. Child, the stove is hot, don't touch it. Child, I said the stove is hot, don't touch it, in other words. So in other words, like, your father's going to discipline you, whether it be your father or your mother. They're going to discipline you in the sense, like, I'm not saying that they have to spank you, but they're going to put you in time out. They're going to give you, a little, however people, give them something to sit down and think about, or whatever the case may be. But, in other words, God is allowing the testing to come to refine us, is what I'm hearing, to refine us. So if you just can keep that in mind, anytime you try to get closer to God, and if you feel like the enemy shows up It's a form of initiation, and it's a matter of pushing through it. Because like I said, when I was pregnant with my son, I wanted to read the Bible, and I felt like it was something kept keeping me from trying to read it, right? And then I kept pushing through it and kept pushing through it. And then the more I pushed through it, the more I started experiencing attacks. So I say all that to say I could see negative entities, through my dream state, and I could feel like entities pulling me up to the ceiling in a sense, like that would be some sort of poltergeist, exorcism type stuff that you would see in physical, real life. But this was happening spiritually, should I say. So I say all that to say, I was being pulled up to the ceiling and being held up by a, demon and entity or whatever the case may be. But, I made it a point to try to fight through that, should I say. So yes, I have went through this initiation as well as too, and I get it. Certain people are going through certain things. So hopefully by me sharing my story, you never know what somebody else may be going through, because they could be experiencing attacks from, again, demons, negative energies, negative entities, or whatever the case may be. And not just that, but low vibrational people who have been out here trying to manipulate, hurt, harm, and injure people, in a sense of, because I told you there's been a lot of people who have been manipulating energy, in a sense. In other words, attaching themselves, attaching these energetic cords to people, in a sense, that kind of alters their state, in a sense. Because remember what I said about the jail, going into the jail? I remember signing a paper to go in to see the person, but when I came out, I absolutely didn't remember anything. So if you can keep in mind that you may see people going through stuff, and don't take it personal, but have personal boundaries as well too. But try not to take it personal. And the reason why I say that is because they may be not aware of the things that they're doing. Because again, if someone is shifting into another timeline, they're not consciously or present in the moment to understand. If they was in a past timeline, their mindset didn't even remember what was happening at that present moment, because their mind was over in another timeline, if that makes sense to you. So anyway, I'm going to end it there. So if you can just remember that that's when the enemy tries to attack the hardest, is when you try to have a relationship with God. But just know that it's like initiation from God. It's a test. That's it. Just to see whether you're going to keep going forward, or you're going to just give up and kind of run away. And I forgot to tell you yesterday when I said I was looking down the street at the parking lot, and I saw the groups of people, and the guy looked at me, and I looked back at him, and I kind of, wimped out and got away from the window. I forgot to tell you that when I walked away from the window, there was water in the carpet. So that was just letting me know that, because I was like, what is this water coming from? I remember I was telling my daughter in the dream, like, let me get my book bag off the floor, because in my book bag it had like my school books and stuff in it. So I was trying to set it up high. So I knew that was letting me know I was in my feelings and I was in my emotions in the dream, and therefore I became fearful, because he saw me looking at him, and he made eye contact with me to let me know that he saw him. So again, I was just being in an emotional state rather than in being fearful. Pretty much it. So anyway, I hope that information was helpful. It is like an hour and almost 2 hours, but I hope you guys listened to this message to the end. It was very beneficial for what is to come. And just remember to be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others. That does not mean that you have to accept their behavior in a sense, but that doesn't, keep a cool lid on it, is what I'm hearing spirit say. Like I said about that pot, stay neutral in the middle, but keep a cool pot, or keep a calm pot with the lid on it, should I say. And try not to explode like you may see other people doing, because you may kind of see them doing certain things. But I don't know why this 30 days is pointing out to me, but I guess for the next 30 days, just be mindful. Just be mindful of your surroundings or whatever. Just be mindful. Be mindful where you go. Be mindful of who you congregate with. Be mindful of, just be mindful. It's so important to be to yourself at this time. I'm not trying to isolate anybody, but I'm just trying to tell you. But do what you will. But yeah. So anyway, for this next 30 days, just be mindful of just the energies that's taking place, as I said before. But I wish you all nothing but much love on this journey. Yes, you are. We all are beautiful souls deep down inside. And I guarantee you, once we clean out all this mess and gook and trauma and hurt and pain, we can stop hurting other people and we can all become healed people. And oh my God, we can probably thrive like the time of Lemire. You know what I mean? Where everything, the sun was out, everything was fruitful, everything was multiplying, everybody was happy. And I'm not saying that you are not going to have those people who are still stuck where they need to be stuck at, or those same people who trying to play their political games. I'm not saying that you may not have them, but at least now you can see the fuckery. I'm just going to say it like that. Now you can see the bullshit that they have been trying to force feed us in a sense, and you can not necessarily look past that, but either we can all choose to step up to the plate together rather than have one individual doing it by themselves. That way the voice can be heard, and in due time we're going to know when that time is present, because God is going to shift us into a new direction. So until then, keep a cool head, stay calm, stay in a place of peace, try not to judge others because you don't know what they're going through. And just remember to try to stay grounded. And if you can get creative and try to be more mindful of watching, again, the electronic devices that you use or whatever the case may be. I know me, I picked up this book, which is so funny because I had this book for years. It's like a crossword puzzle book, right? And I told myself, let me do something different. So I get on my phone every now and then. So it's not as much as it was, and then I do this. I've actually had this book for some time. And I know you probably say like highlights, that's a kid's book. And it is a kid's book, but I like to do it because it stimulates my mind. And not only that, but sometimes I'll be like, Spirit, all right, show me what the next picture is. And Spirit be showing up and I just be circling or whatever the case may be. But I say all that to say that I've been occupying my mind with other things, doing the simple way of things and not doing the complicated, things of, just being caught up. And that's why some of you guys were asked to unsubscribe from certain people's channel, because certain people's channel carry a certain frequency, and it could just be, pulling your energy down and keeping you vibrating in a low energy rather than vibrating in a higher energy where Gospel Spirit wants you to vibrate at. So that way that, because in order to experience the happiness and peace that you want, is almost like you got to raise your frequency. So if your frequency is low, you're just going to find yourself keep being on that hamster wheel of being in that same cycle rather than getting out of the loop and going higher, in a sense, if that makes sense. So anyway, so if you guys don't have God in your heart, it's okay. I'm not judging. Just know I get it, because at one point in time too, I was being tested by the enemy as well too. And I know sometimes it's not a pretty thing, and, I get it. But just know that in the end, that you're going to see that it was well worth the wait, should I say. Anyway, so stay blessed, stay beautiful, stay sweet. And if you choose to, remember to always keep God first and foremost in your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I wish you all nothing but much love, much light. And I say peace and blessings. Bye.